thou mighty, all-powerful, active presence, God. We ever grow in deeper praise, thanks and gratitude to Thee for Thy life, Thy light, and Thy intelligent power manifest everywhere in the universe, for Thy active presence manifest in the mind, body, home, world, and affairs of everyone. Enable us to understand and feel Thy radiant power, always active in our world, affairs, and business, knowing no single activity can go wrong. For Thou dost govern all action in Thy love and justice, guiding and regulating all. I am the mighty channel of justice, claiming all now and for all time that they serve only the cause of America and the light of God. I bring you greetings from the great host, ever watching over and ministering through their divine radiation to heal, bless, enlighten, and prosper all who will accept. Second, know, I am. The active presence, governing all manifestation in my life and world perfectly. Then I have entered into the truth which shall bring all freedom. I must relate a thing that would be most laughable if it were not really serious. I would chastise and rebel considerably if my little pet dog continued to carry bones from the alley into my living room. I would think he was doing something very much out of place. I know that when I allow my mind to dwell upon disturbing things or experiences, I am doing a great deal worse than bringing bones into the living room. The unfortunate thing I see with students and individuals, which seems so difficult for them to understand, is to never, under any circumstances, try to hold the water that has gone over the wheel. In other words, the unpleasant experiences, losses, or any imperfection that has passed over my wheel of experience should never be held close to me. I forgive and forget them. To give and forgive is godlike indeed. For illustration, if I or a group I am part of enters a business undertaking and through lack of understanding it fails or falls apart, it is always because of inharmony in mental attitude and feelings. If everyone in such an association and I would take our stand and hold it that there was only God in action, only the most perfect success would come out of it. Since I have free will, if I do not control my own thought and feeling, I will wreck things for myself and others. Such is the great law. Unless I correct my own thought and feeling and keep it so. Everyone who manifests in the physical form today has made plenty of mistakes sometime, somewhere, so I must not take the attitude that I am more holy than another. But my first attitude should be to call on the law of forgiveness. If I feel or send criticism, condemnation, or hate to another of God's children, I can never have enlightenment or success until I call on the law of forgiveness. Further, I must say silently to the person toward whom I felt disturbed, I send to you the fullness of the divine love of my being, to bless and prosper you. This attitude is the only release and freedom from the seeming failures of outer activity. If I continually revolve in my mind and discussion a business or project that has disintegrated, it will surely in the end destroy me unless I face about, and by calling on the law of forgiveness, find complete conscious release from the entire situation. For an individual to hold an attitude of revenge for any seeming wrong, imaginary or otherwise, can only bring upon himself incapacity of mind and body. The old yet wondrous statement brought down to us through the ages, unless you are willing to forgive, how can you be forgiven, is one of the mightiest laws for use in human experience. I wish people could see how they hold on to what they do not want by allowing their minds to dwell on discordant events that have passed and cannot be changed. I know that the greatest thing everyone seeks is peace and freedom, the doorway to happiness. I have found there is only one way to receive this, and that is to know God, the I Am presence, as the only acting intelligence in my life and world at all times. I stand by this and live it. Since coming into the ascended state, I have been amazed at how distorted people's idea of freedom is, financially and otherwise. I teach that the only sure rock for eternal financial freedom is to know and feel with every fiber of your being. I am the wealth, the opulence, the substance already perfected in my world, of every constructive thing I can conceive or desire. I know this is true financial freedom, and as I maintain it, it will not get away. I have seen people use, knowingly or unknowingly, enough of this God I Am presence or God energy to accumulate millions. Yet they have no certainty of keeping it. I assure you that it is impossible to keep wealth accumulated without being aware that God is the power producing and sustaining it. I see constant examples of great wealth taking wings overnight. Thousands in recent years have experienced this. Even after apparent loss, if they had taken the firm, conscious stand, I am the wealth. God in action, now manifest in my life and world, the door would have immediately opened for them to receive abundance again. I say again because they had built momentum and attained great confidence. Therefore, all requirements were at hand, yet in most instances, they allowed discouragement, often hatred and condemnation, to enter and shut the door to further progress. I assure you, beloved children of God, that no outer condition has ever been so bad that the I Am presence cannot rebuild me into freedom and independence, financially and in every way. I especially want students who come under this radiation to understand that in this day of falling thrones, governments, and fortunes, they must know the power within. If my wealth has flown away through ignorance, I know the I Am presence in me, God in action, is the sure rebuilder of my faith, confidence, and resources. I allow this mighty inner energy to flow into my desire, for desire directed by conscious attention is the only power that ever accomplished anything. If I have experienced loss of wealth, I immediately use the marvelous statement of Jesus. I am the resurrection and the life of my business, my understanding, or whatever thing I wish to focus my attention on. I tell you frankly, there is not the slightest hope for me in heaven or earth so long as I persist in holding thoughts and feelings of criticism, condemnation, or hate, even mild dislike. I must concern myself only with my own activity and my world. For it is not my province to judge another, since I do not know the forces and conditions acting upon them. I recognize that I see only one angle of any situation, and therefore I cannot judge another accurately. If someone is entirely innocent of intent to wrong another, I realize that those who send criticism, condemnation, or hate are doing worse than physical murder. I understand why. Thought and feeling are the only creative power, and such thoughts return to the sender carrying accumulated energy. So in reality, when I hold vicious thoughts toward another, I am destroying myself, my business, and my affairs. There is no way to avert this except for me to awaken and consciously reverse the currents within my own consciousness. I point out that throughout all ages, business associations have contained one or two who deliberately intend wrong, and through them, innocent people have been imprisoned. I tell you now, as an unfailing law, that those who cause innocent persons to be incarcerated will bring that exact experience upon themselves, even into subsequent embodiments. I would rather 1,000 times be deliberately taken down than be the instrument of depriving any of God's children of their liberty. I believe there is no greater crime than the prevailing use of circumstantial evidence, since in 99 out of 100 cases it proves wrong. I know that sometimes the truth is never known to the outer senses. I urge anyone seeking the light not to set themselves up in judgment of another of God's children. When someone I love seems to go awry, I know the first reaction is often to sit in judgment and criticism. The most powerful thing I can do for someone in that condition is pour out all my love and silently acknowledge that I am God in action is the only controlling intelligence and activity within them. Continuing to speak silently to their consciousness is the greatest help I can give. I find that remonstrating verbally often creates antagonism and intensifies the problem rather than erasing it, while silent work achieves change. I accept that no one in outer consciousness can know what the I Am God presence within another wishes to do. I believe these truths, if maintained, would bring great peace into people's lives. I have seen lives and business efforts ruined by judgment, condemnation, or hatred lurking in consciousness. When I want to leap ahead in the progress of the light, I never enter sleep until I have consciously sent love to every person whom I feel has harmed me. I know this thought of love goes straight into another's consciousness and generates its quality and power, which will return to me as surely as I send it out. I believe there is no single element more responsible for disease of body and mind than the hate we send to another. I cannot predict how this hate will react on the sender's mind and body, because it produces different effects in different people. I understand that resentment is simply a milder form of hate, only of a milder degree. A very wonderful thought to live in always is, I am the perfect creative thought and feeling present in my mind and heart. It is a most marvelous thing. It not only brings me rest and peace, but releases limitless gifts from the presence. I am the mighty law of divine justice and protection acting in my mind and heart. I can apply and use this with enormous force and power in every way. I am divine love, filling my mind and heart. As I think on this, I understand what was done when this home was made a radiating center of the active presence of God. I suddenly come into a realization of the gigantic application of this. Everything in the life experience of humanity can be governed by my I Am presence. Using the I Am presence is the highest activity I can give. When I say I am, I set God into action. There is much more to it that I will come to realize when I feel and know the enormity of this expression. I realize the enormous power of the I Am to act in things of this kind. I am the God Power Almighty. There is no other power that can act. When I say and feel this, I liberate and loose the full activity of God. I am the conscious memory of these things. I am the conscious memory, use, and understanding in the use of these things. When I say the presence that I am, clothes me in my eternal transcendent garment of light, it actually takes place that moment. The secret place of the Most High is my I Am presence. The sacred things revealed to me are not to be cast forth, for they are as pearls. I am the perfect poise of speech and action at all times. Then my guard is always up, for I am the protecting presence. God's energy is always waiting to be directed. Inherent within the expression of the I Am is the self-sustaining activity. Then I know there is no time. This brings me to instantaneous action, and my precipitation will soon take place. Always preceding a manifestation, I feel that absolute stillness. We give thanks, O mighty I Am presence, for having entered into thy secret place. Let thy wisdom govern at all times the dispensation of thy light. Let thy wisdom guard and direct our minds and bodies at all times, that they always act in perfect accord with thee. As thou art called forth into action, O mighty I Am presence, we know we are always charged at all times with thy mighty energy, and that it accomplishes all perfectly wherever it is sent.